For 15 years, I cooked every holiday meal. Turkey, pies, ham, casseroles. My hands blistered, my back ached, but I still showed up, apron tied, serving the very people who never once thanked me. Instead, they mocked me. "You're just a chef," my parents would sneer. "Do your service and don't dare force your way into this family. Your other sister is our real queen, our true daughter." Their laughter stung worse than hot oil on my skin. Year after year, I swallowed it. I told myself maybe this time they'd see me, not as the servant at their table, but as their blood, their child. But every holiday, the script was the same. I cooked, they mocked, and my sister basked in the glow of being their perfect one. My name is Claire Donovan. I'm 29 years old. And if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned. What happens when the hands that feed stop serving altogether? It was Thanksgiving when something inside me snapped. As my mother barked orders and my father chuckled at my lowly service, I dropped the carving knife, looked up, and said one word that stunned them.
"No."
The room froze. My sister's smug smile faltered. Mom's hand hovered midair, holding her wine glass. Dad's brow furrowed. "No," he repeated, like the word was foreign. I wiped my hands on my apron, untied the knot, and set it on the counter. "This is the last meal I cook for you." That Christmas, I didn't show up. No pies. No ham. No meat. Just silence, and a raw turkey sitting untouched on their counter, mocking them the way they once mocked me. It was the first taste of hunger they couldn't laugh away. Christmas morning, my phone buzzed nonstop. First came the text from Mom. "Where are you? The turkey isn't in the oven. You're late. Stop playing games." Then Dad's voice on voicemail, sharp and commanding. "Claire, get over here. This family doesn't run without you in the kitchen."
"Dear job. My job."
That's all I'd ever been to them, a servant disguised as a daughter. I silenced my phone and poured myself coffee in my quiet apartment. For the first time in years, I wasn't elbow deep in stuffing, sweating in front of a hot oven while they laughed in the dining room. I was free. By noon, the tone of their messages shifted. Mom's frantic voice trembled in the next voicemail. "Claire, what's going on? Everyone's here, and nothing's ready. Your sister is embarrassed. Please just come." I imagine them standing around a cold, raw turkey, casseroles unmade, pies unbaked, their smug faces collapsing as relatives whispered. The image made me smile. At 3 p.m., the final voicemail arrived, my sister's voice dripping with venom. "You've ruined everything. Do you know how humiliated I am? Everyone saw what a disaster this was. You'll regret this." But I didn't regret it. For the first time in 15 years, I sat at my own table, eating takeout Chinese food with candles lit, laughing at the irony. They thought I was disposable, a tool to keep their tradition alive. But my absence had left them starving, in every sense. They had built their holidays on my labor. And when I pulled it away, the cracks in their perfect family image showed. The silence I left behind wasn't empty. It was deafening. New Year's Eve came, and instead of fireworks, I got pounding at my apartment door. When I opened it, my parents stood there, bundled in coats, my sister just behind them with arms crossed like a queen stripped of her crown. Mom started first, her voice sugar-sweet but brittle. "Claire, honey, we overreacted. You know we love your cooking. It wasn't right for you to skip Christmas. You embarrassed the family." I leaned against the doorframe. "Embarrass the family? You mean by not letting you humiliate me in front of your guests while I worked like a maid?" Dad's jaw clenched. "Stop being dramatic. We need you. Everyone expects tradition. Your sister can't. Your sister can't cook." I cut him off. "That's what you mean." And suddenly I'm useful again. My sister scoffed, her tone venomous. "Don't flatter yourself. You're nothing without us. You're just a chef, Claire. We gave you the stage. Without our table, you're invisible." Her words hit like stones, but this time, I didn't flinch. Instead, I stepped back into my apartment, grabbed a small folder from the counter, and held it up. Invisible? Funny, because I've been recording for years. Every insult, every dismissal, Every moment you called me the help instead of family." Their eyes widened. "I'm not just a chef," I said, voice steady. "I'm the proof that your perfect family isn't perfect at all. And if you think I'll stay silent, think again." For the first time, none of them had a comeback. They stared at me, pale and speechless, as the reality of what I held sank in. I shut the door softly, leaving them in the hallway with nothing but silence and fear. The days after New Year's were strangely quiet. No more pounding at my door, no more demands for my duty. Instead, a different kind of buzz filled the air, rumors. My cousin texted first. "Your mom looked awful at brunch. People are talking about Christmas being a disaster. What happened?" Then an old family friend messaged. "Heard you finally stood up to them. About time." The whispers I had once dreaded were now working in my favor. The truth had begun to leak out, piece by piece, and the perfect image my parents had crafted around my queen sister was cracking. Meanwhile, the folder sat on my desk like a loaded weapon. Years of insults scribbled in journals. Voice recordings from dinners where I was ordered to serve, not sit. Even photos of me cooking alone in the kitchen while the rest of them posed for family pictures without me. I didn't send anything out.
Not yet.
But I let them know I could. One carefully worded email. "I have everything documented. Stop treating me like I'm disposable, or the world will see exactly how disposable you made me feel." Within an hour, Dad replied, "Let's talk. Don't do anything rash." For once, they were afraid of me. That weekend, Mom showed up at my apartment again, this time with trembling hands and no rehearsed speeches. She tried to smile, but her eyes betrayed her. "Claire, you wouldn't really share that, would you? It would ruin us." I looked her in the eye and finally said the words I'd waited years to speak. "You ruined yourselves." I'd just stopped covering it up. And for the first time in my life, I saw her flinch, not from anger, but from truth. By February, the cracks in their empire of appearances had split wide open. At church, my mother's friends whispered behind gloved hands. At the country club, Dad's golfing buddies stopped inviting him to tournaments. Even my sister, who once strutted like royalty, started avoiding social events after relatives asked why Christmas ended in disaster without me there to save it. I didn't lift a finger. I didn't send the recordings, didn't leak the photos. All I did was stop covering their mess. And the silence in my absence did more damage than any outburst ever could. Then came the phone call I'd been waiting for. My sister's voice trembled, stripped of arrogance. "Claire, please. We need you back for Easter. Just one dinner. People are starting to question things." I let the pause hang, long and heavy. "And why would I do that?" "Because," she snapped, then faltered, her voice breaking. "Because you're the only one who can fix this." Her words tasted like justice. For years, they'd told me I was nothing but the help. Now, they were begging for the very help they mocked. I leaned back in my chair, my tone calm, deliberate. Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, it was never about me cooking. It was about control. You wanted me invisible while you shined. But here's the truth. Without me, there is no shine. Her silence on the line said everything. When I hung up, I felt the weight shift again. They were no longer the ones holding me hostage with their cruelty. I was the one holding the key to exposing everything. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid to use it. Easter came and went, and I stayed home. No casseroles. No pies. No Claire to play the silent servant. Instead, I spent the day with friends who valued me. Real laughter, real warmth, no strings attached. My phone buzzed all afternoon, desperate calls I ignored. By nightfall, a text from Dad popped up, short and sharp. "You've made your point.
Stop this now."
Enough. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. The next week, I quietly sent a single email. Not to the press, not to social media, just to 3 relatives who always doted on my sister and parroted my parents' lies. Attached were photos, me cooking alone, me excluded from family pictures, them mocking me over wine while I scrubbed dishes. Within hours, the whispers became roars. The relatives forwarded the proof wider, and soon, Everyone in our family circle saw what I had endured. My mother called me sobbing. Claire, how could you betray us like this? People are calling, they're disgusted. Do you know what you've done? I held the phone to my ear, steady.
No, Mom.
Do you know what you've done? You spent 15 years calling me less than family. Now they finally see it for themselves. My sister tried next, her tone brittle. Fine, you've embarrassed us. But if you care at all about this family's future, you'll stop. I almost laughed. Future? You erased mine every time you called me. Just a chef. This isn't about family. This is about truth. The line went dead, and for the first time, I didn't feel guilt. I felt free. They wanted me invisible. Instead, I had made them transparent. By summer, the damage was irreversible. My mother stopped showing her face at church. My father's business partners grew distant, worried about being linked to a family under constant whispers. And my sister, the so-called queen, saw her friends dwindle, one by one, as people replayed my proof in hushed living rooms. Their perfect image had collapsed. Then one evening, I got an envelope in the mail. Inside, a handwritten letter from Mom. The same elegant script she used for holiday invitations now wavered across the page. Claire, please stop. We can't handle this shame. We'll do anything if you just put this to rest. The words might have broken me once.
But now?
They were hollow. I remembered every Thanksgiving where they laughed while I sweated in the kitchen. Every Christmas where I was ordered to serve, not celebrate. Every Easter where I was invisible in photos because I was still scrubbing pans. Now the roles had flipped. They were the ones scrubbing at stains that wouldn't come out. I called Mom, and when she answered, her voice cracked. Claire, tell me what you want. Money? Apologies? Your sister will apologize, too. Just please end this. I took a long breath, steady. What I want is simple. Acknowledgement. You treated me like a servant, not a daughter. You erased me. And now everyone sees it. That's not betrayal, Mom. That's justice. Her silence said more than her words ever could. When I hung up, I realized I didn't need them to grovel anymore. Their punishment was living in the wreckage they built with their own cruelty. The silence I once dreaded had become my sweetest revenge. Thanksgiving came again, 1 year after the day I first said no. I woke that morning to the quiet hum of my own kitchen. Not chaos, not demands, not ridicule. Just peace. The smell of cinnamon rolls drifted through the air as I baked for myself and a handful of friends I had invited over. People who valued me for who I was, not for what I could serve. Meanwhile, my phone buzzed with a single text from my cousin. Your parents tried again. Burn the turkey. Guests left early. It was pitiful. I laughed, a sound light and unforced. For once, their disaster wasn't my responsibility. It was their reality. Later, as we sat at my table sharing food and stories, I realized something. Revenge hadn't been about making them suffer. It was about removing myself from their stage, refusing to be their silent servant, and letting the truth reveal itself. They had always needed me more than I needed them, and now they finally knew it. When the night quieted, I stepped outside, breathing in the crisp autumn air. My phone buzzed again, this time a voicemail from Mom, her voice weary, trembling. Claire, the house is so quiet without you. We didn't realize what we lost until it was gone. I didn't call back. I didn't need to, because for 15 years, they defined me as just a chef. But now I define myself, daughter, woman, creator, survivor. And the silence they once forced on me? It was mine now, peaceful, earned, and undeniable. The turkey may have gone raw, but the justice? It was cooked to perfection.